The energetic and strong mother, Yamato, the younger brother who's always in his own little world. Follow us as we karate kick all your daily frustrations away. Asuka's Revenge.
My name is Aska. I married my boyfriend, Ryota, who I'd been dating for 4 years. We're going to be having a wedding in September.
I'm so happy!
I wonder if my friends will come. I asked my friends from college if they'd be able to come, and... Can you guys come to my wedding in September?
Of course I'll go!
They said they would all love to attend. One of them, a girl named Elisa, called me. I got along with her the most.
We were all talking and we wanted to go see you before the wedding. Are you able to come out?
Yeah, I'd love to see you guys. We all met up at the cafe. How has everyone been?
I'm doing great. Congrats, Aska. Who's the lucky guy?
My boyfriend. We've been dating for 4 years.
You're the first one out. Congrats on your marriage.
We were all having fun catching up. But suddenly, one of the girls, Miho, started crying.
You guys are so lucky. I went to college on loan, so I still have to pay that off, and I don't have any savings. If my parents were decent, this wouldn't have happened.
She was bawling. We had no idea what to say.
You guys are so lucky. No one wanted to be the communications person during the seminars, so I always did it, and it really sucked.
Uh-huh. She just kept complaining and crying.
I showed you my notes and you guys just thanked me. I didn't want to show my notes at all. Why didn't you just do it yourself?
Huh? I only borrowed the notes from you like once. We all got food poisoning, so we couldn't make it to the lecture.
To wrap things up, she singled me out.
The guy you're getting married to today, it's a different boyfriend from the boyfriend you had in college, right? We know your college boyfriend and you're just gonna come out and say you're getting married to someone else like we should be happy? Have you no shame?
Huh?
I'm working so hard trying to do things right, and you're just gonna quietly get married before me?
She just kept going on, so I couldn't help but say, I'm sorry, I guess. I just had to apologize, but...
You have nothing to apologize for, Aska. I understand you being angry at your parents, but she's not your parent. You were the one that suggested you be the communications person. It's not anyone's fault.
Seriously, you did great, but no one forced it on you. It was super nice when you showed us your notes. You could have just not offered.
Ugh. Asuka's partner isn't the same guy from college. Sure, but no one cares. We're just happy she's getting married.
My other friends covered for me.
What the hell? You don't even know how I feel. Your family is so rich, so you don't know what it feels like to be me.
She just ran out without paying out of anger.
I don't know. Should we go grab food somewhere else to reset the mood?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry from being so shocked, too. We headed to a yakiniku store and ate as much meat as we could.
What the hell was that about anyway? I think I'm done dealing with her. I've lent her bags and shoes from college, but she's never returned them. Yeah, I'm well off, but that is not how you treat people.
Elisa was furious.
I think I'm done too. I didn't think that she was someone that held grudges like that. She was always smiling and despising us behind our backs.
My other friend was just creeped out.
Anyway, want me to do a reception for the wedding?
I'll help too.
Really? That would help a lot, thank you. We ate a lot, drank a lot, and felt a lot better before heading home. I didn't feel that good about her talking shit about my wedding too, but... I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But I can't just stay friends with her after all of that. I decided just to leave her out of the wedding invitation list because I didn't want to offend her more. Then, I got a call from Miho.
I don't have your invitation yet.
Huh? You were planning on coming? I haven't sent you one. I was so shocked that I told her the truth. Click. She just hung up on me. Huh? I guess she wanted to go? Was I being rude? I was so worried that I called my friend Elisa. So, yeah, you think I should have sent an invitation?
Hell no. You realize that she's gonna show up and say some mean shit at the wedding too.
I thought she wasn't happy about my wedding.
Yeah, you made the right choice not inviting her. I think she'll probably say something to your husband too.
Right. I hung up and started getting ready to cook when my other friend called me.
Hey, Miho called me and said that she was getting her dress ready and everything, but then when she called you asking where the invitation was, you said you were inviting her. She said she was furious. I was so shocked that she intended to attend your wedding. I told her to not call me anymore.
I see. Yeah. I guess I did ask if she wanted to go. I should have at least told her that I wasn't going to invite her. That's my bad.
No. No one would think that she wants to attend after that. I thought she wasn't gonna come either.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you might want to tell the wedding venue about her too. She was so mad and I didn't tell her, but she started asking about the wedding date and place, so she might try to just show up.
After I hung up with my friend, I felt a little guilty about not sending the invitation to Miho, but at the same time angry about what she had said that day. I was at the wedding venue with Ryota to make plans. I was going to invite someone because I thought we got along, but actually I decided it would be a bad idea, so can I just tell you now to be careful about her and tell your staff to be on the lookout? I told the planners, but...
Is her name Miho Yamada?
What?
Uh-huh? Apparently, Miho had already called.
I want you to tell me the date and time of Asuka-san's wedding.
And not only once, but 3 times.
I'm sorry, it's private information.
The staff politely declined as it was against the policies, but she just kept threatening and crying and begging over the phone.
We didn't want to tell you and make you worried, so we decided that we would just all be on the lookout on the day of your wedding. But if you already know about it, I apologize for not informing you sooner.
The planner apologized, and I quickly apologized as well.
Maybe we should set up security, even if it's a little more expensive.
Ryota was also cautious, so we hired a security outfit in civilian clothing to be at the wedding. I explained that to my friends after I got home, and...
I cannot believe she would say that about your wedding. She's borrowing things all the time and she has the balls to act that way. I don't consider her a friend anymore.
I think it's normal to cut ties with her. It's better for everyone involved. She's clearly got it out for us.
About a month before the wedding, I was invited out to a cafe by Elisa.
You said you were going to hire security for the wedding, but I don't think you need to worry about it.
Huh? Why? Did Miho call you?
Nope, I saw her on Insta.
I didn't know she had an Insta. I looked at the Insta that Elisa found.
I was asked out by a great-looking biracial guy. He works as an executive for a foreign company in Japan.
Ah, she's found a boyfriend. I continued to read on.
We went to the hills on a drive date. He showed up with a really expensive car and we ate some incredible food. We're going to be going to an overseas resort next month.
There were a lot of comments displaying her happiness. I guess if she's this happy, she shouldn't care about my wedding. But for some reason, the man always hid his face in the pictures. It was a little weird. I mean, he does look good just by the lower half of his face. However, she said,
He accepts and understands everything. He's so kind. My knight in shining armor.
She really did seem like she was at the peak of her happiness, so I was happy for her. Ha! She seems happy. I feel better.
Miho's in a great place now, so I don't think she cares about your wedding. She was even going to be going overseas on your wedding day, so you don't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah. I was so worried about Miho showing up on our wedding day. Now I don't have to bother with it at all. Thank you. I was so glad to see Miho is happy. I was furious and cut ties with her, but I still cared. We always had a lot of fun. There were a lot of great memories, too. We cut ties, but if she's happy, I'm happy. I was feeling relieved and crying when Elisa started laughing.
You're seriously such a great friend. You can have your wedding in peace now.
She was positive about the whole thing. The day of the wedding, we still had people keeping an eye out, but nothing happened, and we had a lovely wedding. It was better than anything I could have imagined.
Yeah.
The ceremony ended, and when we were all getting small gifts at the end, Elisa suddenly said,
Asuka, we cut ties with Miho. You cannot be looking at her Insta anymore, okay? Do not do it.
She looked at me with a serious face. Okay, I'm sure she's happy now too. I think me snooping around would be rude.
Yeah, just forget about it and have a nice life with your husband. Yeah. Do not look, okay?
My name is Kotomi. I've had some epic love affairs that resulted in resentment in the past. I still cringe when I remember it now. My lover's name was Yuya, and he's the root of all the evil I had to deal with. It happened about 3 years after Yuya and I started dating when we were both in the middle of our working lives. By the way, it's almost Yuya's birthday, isn't it? Is there anything you want to go? I remember just when I asked Yuya. Wait a second. Yuya last year.
Can I ask you to come with me to a place I want to go?
He invited me to go to a slightly expensive restaurant. We're both working and it's a celebration, so I replied okay and we didn't really talk about it. But I was looking forward to it, leaving some extra money on hand thinking of paying the whole bill. I can't wait for Yuya's birthday. And on the day,
Sorry for the wait, Kotomi.
Yuya came to pick me up and took me not to a restaurant but to a famous haunted place. Wait, what is this place? I get extremely scared, by the way. Why did we come here? What happened to the restaurant?
I lied about wanting to go to the restaurant in the first place.
I was told. Huh?
It's not a lie because it's where I want to go.
He told me that, but I think Yuya knew that I wouldn't agree if the place he wanted to go was a haunted place, so he tricked me. This guy.
Let's get out of the car and walk.
Absolutely not. After a few moments of arguing, Yuya says,
Then why don't you wait here? In a haunted place. All by your lonesome.
and got out of the car while pulling out the car keys. What? Wait a minute! I got scared really easily, and there's no way I could stand this, so I made the ultimate choice and decided to follow Yuya. I have no choice. I was planning to go to a slightly expensive restaurant in the first place. I was wearing a formal dress and slender heels, not exactly appropriate for a haunted spot on a mountain road with no pavement. And Yuya, wearing his own sneakers, which he had probably prepared originally, carried a flashlight and marched ahead, leaving me behind who was still unsteady on my feet. Yuya, wait! I was so afraid of being left behind that I lost my balance and fell down on the spot when I tried to run to him. Ouch! And when I looked in front of me, Yuya was gone. Yuya? Yuya! I instantly panicked and started running towards the back where Yuya was. But then I saw that there was a slope and I fell down when I missed a step. Ah! When I stopped slipping, my whole body was in pain. The handbag I was carrying and one shoe had gone flying somewhere. My clothes were covered in mud and ripped from getting caught somewhere. I was so scared and in so much pain that I was crying on the spot. And then a light came down from above with laughter. The light was coming from Yuya. Yuya shines his flashlight on me as he comes down from above.
Oh man, running in the dark, huh? That was a great scream.
And said something like this. And as he approached me, perhaps freaked out because of my ragged state, he helped me to my feet and picked up my bag and heels, which had flown away. But I didn't react and went back to the car.
What? Kotomi? Are you mad?
And on my way home, he kept apologizing, making excuses, trying to put me in a good mood.
Kotomi, cheer up. I said I'm sorry.
He kept glancing at me as he drove. Can you just face forward and drive properly? If you want to be a ghost, fine, but don't drag me into it, I said in a surprisingly cold voice, and then he stopped talking to me. And when we arrived home and got out of the car, don't ever call me again. When I said that, he got impatient again and said a bunch of things, but I ignored him and went into the house.
Kotomi, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Forgive me.
And then I went into the house and looked at my whole body again in a well-lit place. It was covered in fresh wounds and it was a terrible mess. Of course it hurt. I looked terrible. It wasn't supposed to be like this. My ankle was sprained and swollen to the size of my fist, and I was wondering what to do because I lived alone and wanted to go to the hospital but couldn't. My brother is my only option. I made the long story short and explained to my boss at work, so I may take Monday off. In the meantime, Yuya has been calling me and sent all kinds of messages, but I ignored all of them. I should lay down the groundwork. I thought so, but I'm already tired, and the fear that I went to a haunted place was starting to boil over again. I'll get back to him later since some of the messages seem to be confessions. I decided to leave him alone for now. It's a good thing I left that guy alone. I don't care if he's sorry or not. And I ended up whining to my brother who was a few hours away on the highway to carry me to the hospital. Brother, I'm sorry, it hurts.
Just be quiet.
I was unable to walk, so my brother carried me. It's embarrassing, but he's my brother I can count on. When I got to the hospital, they said I had a crack, not a sprain. I also got a medical certificate because I had a cut on my head that I didn't notice because it was covered by my hair. I feel invincible now.
Kotomi, you're so energetic even though your body is in shambles.
Yuya continued to contact me.
Are you alright? Rest up, okay? I'm worried about you. So can't you at least give me a reply? Are you mad at me because I tricked you into taking you there? I said I'm sorry. I'm seriously sorry. I just wanted to play a little prank. I mean, it was you who ran and fell in the first place, so isn't it wrong how you're mad at me? Are you mad because you didn't get to go to a fancy restaurant? Were you going to take advantage of me?
I was exhausted and had accumulated so many savory messages that I was beyond angry and dismayed. I'm starting to feel the pain again.
You don't look good all of a sudden.
I took a picture of the injury before the procedure and the medical certificate and sent it to Yuya instead of replying to the message. Then I made sure Yuya had read the message and called him back. You replied, so that means you saw the whole thing, right? At that time, I still had feelings for Yuya, or I trusted his conscience a little bit and hoped he would realize the gravity of the situation. He's going to apologize and worry about me, right? I thought so, but Yuya's first words were in a low, gruff voice.
Huh? What's that? Blackmail?
He said. You're gonna say that? I cried into the phone because of the way he said it, and the phone was on speaker so my brother who was standing next to me could hear it.
Give me the phone!
My brother got angry in my behalf.
Do you know how dangerous it was for my sister? Huh? I'm sorry!
Yuya falters as he hears my brother's voice yelling and hung up the phone to get away. That bastard! But after that, Tomoko, the leader of my friend group, I heard you had a fight with Yuya. What happened? After I told her what happened, do you want me to go along with you as a third party to talk about the breakup? So I decided to ask her, Tomoko, you're the best. Then we made a plan and Tomoko to Yuya. You had a fight with Kotomi, didn't you? I'll listen to what you have to say. And called him to the family restaurant, where my brother and I would meet up with them. I asked my brother to take me there and I'll talk about our breakup by myself, and asked him not to get into the conversation. And as soon as I entered the restaurant when Yuya saw me,
You tricked me! You're the worst!
And he unleashed an oversized boomerang. Tomoko and my brother were stunned at how stupid he was, or rather furious. In the end, my brother, Tomoko, and I attacked Yuya in full force.
I apologize! What I did to Kotomi-san was the worst thing I could have done!
I received an apology and had my contact information erased from Yuya's phone book right in front of me. I settled for him paying for my medical bills and the ruined clothes.
Well, I guess that's about it. But I can't pay that much for the medical bills!
Yuya insisted, but my brother...
Whose fault is it that Kotomi had to spend that much money?
He put him in a corner and got him to pay in a lump sum from his own savings, which he said he didn't have much of. Oh man. And we ended with a final nail in the coffin, telling him that if he lied about the reason for our breakup or spread any strange rumors, I would spread the truth to all my friends via Tomoko. In case you're wondering why Yuya did what he did.
I thought it would be funny if I scared her. And if I scared her, I thought she would depend on me.
He said. Idiot. I've jumped behind the couch in the past because I saw a commercial for a horror movie. I'm not going to quietly shiver in a haunted place, you idiot. Those were my last words to Yuya. My name is Aska. My husband Ryota graduated from a small community college and works at a small company in the countryside.
All right. See you later.
Have a great day. My brother-in-law, Ryosuke-kun, actually went to a really famous college and works at a really big company, and my in-laws love him. We have been married for 2 years and have no kids. We live a little distance away from my in-laws, so my mother-in-law would sometimes say or do mean things, but Ryota usually helps if he notices, so I guess I'll just ignore it. I didn't think much of it at the time. But then one day, Ryosuke-kun, my in-law's favorite, was going to get married, so my in-laws, myself and Ryota, were all going to meet the girl at his parents' house. I wonder what kind of girl Ryosuke-kun is going to marry.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet her.
We arrived at around 6 p.m. that evening, just like my mother-in-law instructed. Good evening, thanks for having us.
I'm home.
On the table, there were various dishes placed for us to eat. I worked hard for Ryosuke-chan's wife. My mother-in-law was smirking the whole time, but the reality of it was that I had a really bad egg allergy and I can't eat any of the dishes. She knew that, and she was a great cook too. I just made sure to turn my head and eat what I knew I didn't have egg in it. She's doing it again. I was used to this sort of thing, and I just took my seat and ate what little I could that didn't include egg. I don't eat anything, but if Ryota notices, he's going to get angry, so she's always so good at adjusting everything. There was a sashimi placed towards me this time too. I could eat that, I guess. Nice to meet you. I'm Nanako. After we all said our hellos and started to eat, apparently sashimi was Nanako-san's favorite, and my mother-in-law kept pushing her to eat more. Look, there's a lot of sashimi here. Thank you so much. The salad was also using quite a bit of egg this time, so I was unable to eat pretty much anything. I was just eating a plain bowl of rice. Then Ryota noticed and said,
What about this? Or this?
That has egg. He would ask or suggest me to eat certain things, but they had eggs in them. I told him no every time he made a suggestion. Then eventually, Ryota figured out that everything had eggs in it. However, this was a place where we were supposed to be celebrating Ryosuke-kun, so we couldn't get angry or anything either. Don't worry about me, okay? Let's just celebrate for Ryosuke-kun, I whispered in his ear. She must have noticed me not eating. Nanako-san, who was being questioned by my mother-in-law, said, Asuka-san, if there's something you want to eat around me, just let me know, okay? She was kind. However, then my mother-in-law said, She's such a picky eater that she can't eat a lot of things. She let out a little cackle. I see. What are you not good with, Asuka-san? Nanako-san asked me, and for some reason, my mother-in-law thought that it was her position to answer. Asuka-san doesn't eat any eggs. Kinda crazy, right? Why is she answering when I was asked the question? Ugh. I just left it alone when Nanako-san suddenly looked different. Wait, you're not allergic, are you? Then my mother-in-law, with her usual shit-eating grin. Yeah, what a crock of. She's just being spoiled, and now look at what she's turned into, huh? Nanako-san heard this and was infuriated. Spoiled? Allergies are being spoiled? Are you being serious? Huh? Oh, you know. Nanako-san looked at my now nervous mother-in-law and looked over the whole table at all the dishes that we are prepared. There's a person that literally cannot eat eggs even if she wanted, and these were the things you chose to cook, she exclaimed before turning to me. Was this sashimi for you? I'm so sorry. She was apologetic to me. No, that was just because I heard that you really love sashimi, so... My mother-in-law was starting to stumble out some words, but then Nanako-san said, What? But then Asuka-san has had nothing to eat. Attacking a person for something they can't really change. Boy, your mother has a lovely hobby, doesn't she? She smiled. For some reason, my mother-in-law started crying, and my father-in-law started questioning her. Ryosuke-kun, who saw his kind mother act like this for the first time, was shocked. Ryota said,
Nanako-san, I'm so sorry for making you feel so uncomfortable in a place like this.
He apologized to her. The whole place was just chaos, so we left the house in a hurry. Afterwards, Nanako-san spoke to us through Ryosuke-kun's phone. I'm so sorry for everything. I knew you came out this way to meet me. She was apologizing to us. No, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be your celebration. This whole time I thought that, but I felt a lot better after Nanako-san spoke directly to her. I'll just ignore my mother-in-law. Nanako-san was apparently a nurse, so just the other day, she was treating a little boy who had the same allergies as I did and was pretty bad. I just remembered how bad that boy had it, and I reacted a little too much towards her. I'm really sorry for ruining the party. Apparently Ryosuke and his fiancée were going to stay after we left, but they also ended up leaving and staying in a hotel. Oh, then how about we grab some food? So we all ended up meeting up to grab some food. We had told her to begin with, I don't want my lovely Ryosuke-chan to have to take care of me, so you two look after me once I'm older. We were deemed as caretakers, and so Ryota wasn't a huge fan of his house either. That's why I didn't meet up too frequently, and this was supposed to be a special occasion. So Ryota's anger was pretty bad too.
She's going too far. How could she do that?
Ryota's a man, and he would have noticed a difference in dishes if he tried. He was getting angrier by the second after figuring out how sneaky she was being. I've never seen someone shift into drive and put the pedal to the metal without even turning on the engine. We don't have kids, but just imagine if we did and her doing that to her kids. Yeah, kids very well may not know about it, so it's pretty dangerous. We were all talking and turned a pale blue. I can't hold it back anymore. You two are getting married, and I'm sorry for all this right after meeting you, Nanako-san, but... Ryota said.
I'm not going to be dealing with Dad or Mom at all. I'm not going to live with them, and I'm not going to help them financially at all either. So I don't care if I inherit nothing.
He was clear.
Also, they know our address right now, so I need to move. I know it's like cutting ties, but I don't want my kids to have any kind of interaction with them.
The Nanako-san said, I think that's for the best. Life can't be replaced. Ryosuke-kun also said,
We're not going to deal with them anymore either. We talked about it last night.
They were clear too. According to Nanako-san, there are cases where the mother-in-law intentionally feeds the grandchild some kind of toxic food. So even if you limit to allergies, there's still a lot of other things that you need to worry about. I think that we also have a huge difference in how we raise kids. I don't know the exact specifics, but I don't want my kid to have to deal with it. We all spoke to each other, and eventually, I was just plain afraid of my mother-in-law. She was pretty mean towards me, but I think she did think that eggs were just too good for you. It's too late if you wait till something happens. I really wish she understood that. Afterwards, we officially cut ties and we all live quietly in a place that they don't know the address to while raising our kids. Raising kids is seriously just so unpredictable. Ryosuke-kun didn't even have to cut ties. Her mom was afraid of them after the incident, so she never reaches out to them. I think she doesn't like me. Nanako-san was laughing about it.
I'm Kotomi. I got married 2 years ago, but the other day I decided to get a divorce. That didn't last long. My ex-husband, Hiroki, before we got married, he said to me,
Quit your job!
but that year he got a new job and the pay wasn't so good. I wasn't sure if we could make ends meet if I quit my job. But right now, you're not making enough to support the both of us. Maybe in a few years, but I can't quit now.
Okay, you're right.
I managed to convince him most of the time, but
I changed my mind! Quit your job!
he kept telling me to quit my job again and again. Why? Well, he wanted me to take care of his mother. His mother was fine, by the way. She wasn't sick or anything. She had a part-time job and a bunch of friends. She was perfectly fine. I don't think she'd want me around the house all the time either. But for some reason, Hiroki wanted me to go to her house every day and do housework for her. Her house was a 40-minute drive away, by the way. I think he just wants to show off in front of his parents.
Mom and Dad are old. You gotta help them out.
Then help them yourself. They're your parents. I didn't understand why he was asking me to do all this. And whenever we went to his parents' house together, he always bossed me around for some reason. And his mom, she seemed happy about it. Then, one day, we were at his parents' house. As usual, he was bossing me around. I've had enough. So when we got home, I decided to have a talk with him.
Screw you! You can't embarrass me in front of my parents! And I'm doing this for you! They think you're a good wife. And it's all because of me! You should be thanking me!
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He was so annoying. A good wife? I don't really care what your parents think of me. He stopped talking to me after that. He asked me to prepare his father's golf bag before he went golfing. The other day, he told me to go buy a shower head from the store so that his mother could do some gardening. Who does he think I am? I'm not a servant. Look, it's not my fault you don't make enough to support the both of us. That's why I'm still working, you know? But now you're gonna criticize me for not being a good wife? Seriously? I didn't marry you to take care of your parents, okay? You do realize that, right? What the hell is your problem anyways? You said you wanted to start a new family with me. You never said anything about your parents. I didn't sign up for this.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
He apologized to me after that, but
I'm not telling you to put my parents before everything, but I just want you to be nice to them, that's all. I admit it. I expected way too much from you. For that, I'm sorry, but I wish you would at least try.
he said to me. So all the things I've done for them, I wasn't trying hard enough, is that it?
That's not what I said!
I replied. Then he reached into his bag and grabbed a piece of paper. They were divorce papers.
Look, I don't want to have to do this, but if you can't be nice to my parents, then I don't think I can do this anymore. Marriage isn't just about us, you know. It's a coming together of both families.
Is that so? What have you done for my parents exactly?
Nothing, but you're my wife. I'm your husband. It's just different, you know?
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He can't be serious. He didn't give two shits about my parents. He only cared about his. Then he left for work. He signed his name on the divorce papers and left it on the table on his way out. So I signed them myself and took them to the city office on my way to work. I guess this is it. It was all over. Over the 2 years, we saved up about $20,000 together. So we were gonna start thinking about kids after we reached $30,000. It sucked being broke, but glad I got to divorce him before we had kids together. Good thing I played it safe. It would have been much worse if we had kids. My brother Ryota and his wife Asuka offered to help me move. Better start packing once I get home. Hopefully, I'll be out of the house by the end of the week. I'm sure he won't mind. After all, he's the one that brought it up in the first place. I knew he was only bluffing, but I didn't really care anymore. I'm gonna send some of my stuff to my parents' house for now. I got to the city office and handed in the papers. All done. Well, not really. I still gotta move and talk to Hiroki one last time. I went to my parents' house and told them about the divorce.
What? Seriously?
What? Seriously? My mom flipped out at first, but after I told her what happened, she seemed okay. Then I went back home. I wasn't gonna tell him about the divorce papers just yet. I'll tell him once I'm out of the house. He came home a few hours later, but I stayed away from him as much as possible. We weren't even married anymore, but he had no clue. That night, he came on to me, but I refused. I don't feel like it. And we're not even married anymore, so... If he came on to me, it was definitely a bluff. I knew it. I was right. It was all an act. When he took out the divorce papers, it was still blank. He started filling it in slowly, looking over at me every few seconds.
This is your last chance to apologize.
He didn't say it, but I knew it was a bluff right from the start. Then he signed his signature, put it on the table, and went to take a shower.
Think about what I said to you.
Then he left the room. There wasn't much to think about, but oh well. The next day, when I was organizing my books...
Ah, you're cleaning, huh? Good. Got way too many books anyways. Why don't you throw some of them out? Feels good to get rid of things.
Yeah, tell me about it. It felt so good handing in those divorce papers. He was in a good mood, probably because he thought I was cleaning.
I think she learned her lesson.
That's probably what he thought, but I just couldn't wait to leave this place. Then, the next day, Hiroki had work that day, so I called my brother and his wife to help me move my stuff. Then I texted Hiroki and told him to meet me at this restaurant after work. Meet me at 000 restaurant after work. Then I called both of her parents and told them to meet us there. His mother got there first. She was in a really bad mood. She was glaring at me the entire time.
She should have told me ahead of time.
But when my parents arrived, "Oh, hello, it's so good to see you again." Then she turned to me and smiled. "Kotomi, your parents are here. Say hi." Seriously? By the way, I haven't told her about the divorce yet. Hiroki was running a bit late, so we started eating without him. It was kind of awkward. Hiroki's parents tried to make conversation, but it wasn't working. Then Hiroki's mom went to the bathroom and texted me saying,
"What's wrong with your parents? They barely talk. And what's with their attitude? Why did you call us out here anyways?"
But then Hiroki arrived. It was time to put this thing to bed once and for all. Okay, now that we're all here, I got something to tell you. Hiroki and I are getting a divorce. Actually, the papers have already been submitted, so legally we're not married anymore. I already moved my stuff out of the house. I'm taking half of the money out of our mutual savings.
What?
Hiroki's dad flipped out.
What the hell are you talking about, Kotomi?
So I explained everything that happened to him. Then his wife snapped. She was furious, but I couldn't understand anything she was saying.
Mom, calm down!
Then Hiroki said,
"That was just a fight we had! I never agreed to this! I thought about it and I signed the divorce papers, but you tricked me! I wasn't serious! You can't just go behind my back like this! I wasn't trying to scare you or anything. I just wanted to see what you would do! You can't just hand them in without asking me!"
Then his mom said to my dad, "You've got anything to say about this? Your daughter is out of control!" Ugh.
She's a grown woman, and she can make her own decisions. This is her life, so I've got nothing to say. And Hiroki signed the papers first, right? And my daughter wants a divorce, so I don't think there's anything else to talk about here.
Then Hiroki started begging me to give him another chance.
Kotomi, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please.
Then his mom started crying next to him. It was a mess. And he didn't stop there.
Look, we were drifting apart. I was having trouble at my new job, but you were never there for me. I wanted to spend more time with you, but you were barely home. You were always working. I wanted kids too, but you always said no to me.
He just went on and on like this. So this is all my fault, huh? I didn't want to say anything, but... What do you mean we were drifting apart? We were doing just fine, but you never did anything around the house. We both worked full-time, but I did all the housework. And why do you think I was working so late? I was trying to make more money for us. It's not my fault you don't make enough money to support the both of us. How many times do we have to go through this? I told you this countless times. You never listen. I told you we didn't have enough money to have kids yet. That's why we were saving up. He couldn't say anything back to me. And another thing, you always tried to make me take care of your parents, and I said no, but you wouldn't listen. That's why I decided to leave you. You just wanted to show off in front of your parents, right? That's all you cared about.
What? No,
Shut up. You know I'm right. Then he started crying.
Look, come on, let's not fight. It's only been 2 years. We can still make this work.
He started smiling at me. It was creeping me out. Ugh. I looked at him in disgust. Then he snapped at me.
Just stop, okay? Stop! Screw this! I'm gonna go to the city office and file for marriage!
He said as he ran towards the door. How are you gonna do that? I'm not signing anything. If you forge the documents, that's a felony. He stopped and paused for a second. Then my dad said,
We should probably call a lawyer.
Hiroki and his parents just stood there in silence. They realized there was nothing they could do anymore. After that, we talked about who gets what. I could have sued him for damages, but I decided to settle. I let him keep all the furniture and house appliances. In return, I kept all the money in our mutual savings account. Hiroki and his parents were devastated, but there was nothing they could do anymore. My parents and I left without saying a word. But then a few days later, Hiroki started calling me again. I kept ignoring him, but then he started calling my house.
Stop calling us! If you didn't want a divorce, you should have never signed them in the first place! Call us again, and I'll call my lawyer!
After that, he finally stopped calling. Thank goodness. Glad that's over with. Time to move on with my life. My name is Kotomi. I'm married to a man named Yuta. Since we don't have kids, we both work full-time. I wonder if I can do something about my fat. My legs and stomach are so big, I'm getting tired of looking in the mirror. I used to get fertility treatments, but we found out that there wasn't any problems on my end. They eventually were able to figure out that it was something to do with my husband's side, so we started working on IVF. In vitro fertilization outside of the body. So I've been taking hormone injections for almost 5 years now. I'm a little fatter again. I can't say that it was the treatments for sure, but I started gaining weight. I was definitely fatter than before. I used to be pretty average. Over 5 years, I gained almost 20 kilograms. I can't seem to lose the weight either. Even after quitting the treatments, I still couldn't manage to shed the extra fat that I had gained. I rarely ate sweets and drinks at all. I would limit my intake while going on walks and try all kinds of exercises, but why? I almost wanted to cry with how much I couldn't lose my weight. The only thing I could think of were those treatments. The really sad part was that my husband would often look me up and down and sigh.
I loved you when you were slimmer.
He would drop these snarky little comments at me. My husband's mother would often snark at me as well.
Oh, you're completely different from when you got married. I'm sure you're just spending your days lazy.
My mother-in-law would walk around talking shit about me to her neighbors as well.
Oh, my daughter-in-law's the reason they can't get pregnant.
So everyone thought that I was infertile. Yuta's sister would even say,
You know, I wouldn't mind buying the clothes off you that don't fit you anymore.
while cackling at me. I'm not the reason I can't get pregnant. Eventually, I started despising my husband for all of this. I really couldn't stand my own husband talking about my weight like that. But I can't say anything to him because I know how much it'll hurt his pride. I'm sure he's hurt too. Just let it go. I kept stopping myself when I felt angry. Who knows, maybe I'm just fat for another reason. But when we got in a little argument, Yuta said,
I didn't think that you'd get this fat. This is a scam.
I couldn't stop myself from getting emotional, and if you were able to have kids, I never would have had to get those damn treatments that made me gain weight in the first place. Just drop that bomb on him. My husband started turning red and ran away back to his parents' house. When I quit treatments, I thought it would be fine as long as we both got along with each other and even felt that life would be okay without kids. These past few years, it's been nothing but struggles with Yuta. Honestly, I don't think it's possible for me to get along with him anymore. He never came home that night. He apparently went to work from his parents' house the next morning. I need to talk to him this afternoon after he gets home from work. My husband was the kind of person that expected his wife to take care of the household chores and has never touched a thing around the house in his life. I'm in my 30s and still work hard. I don't do anything that costs a lot of money, so I'm sure I can handle being on my own. But I'm sure my mom would be upset. I don't want to worry her. After 3 years of being married with no kids, my mother-in-law...
You need to go to the hospital. Something is definitely wrong.
So we both went to the hospital to get tested.
So, what were the results? It was you, right?
No. I had lower than average seed, so to speak, and Kotomi was perfectly healthy.
We've had that kind of interaction before, so they all knew that the reason that I wasn't able to get pregnant was because of him. But she still continued even after I started receiving treatment.
The fact that we've got such advanced medical technology and you're still not getting pregnant means that you're definitely a part of the problem. It's not just Yuta.
When I started the treatments initially, Yuta would say,
I'm sorry. I know it's my fault.
At the time, he would console me and take my side, so I never felt that I was done wrong or that I need to be angry at him. But as time went on, I started feeling like maybe it was my fault because of my mother-in-law talking to me. I gotta continue living with Yuta from now on too, but at what cost? I don't think there's any benefit to me living with him anymore. I was thinking about talking about divorce with him when he came back home, but he never came back home. He's just been staying at his parents' place this whole time. Wait, he's blocking my calls. Every time I try to call him, it would go straight to voicemail, but eventually I got a call from the mother-in-law chewing me out.
You said something you should never have said.
I'm sure he conveniently left out the part that led up to all of that. Please let me talk to my husband.
I'm sure if it's just you two, you both are going to get emotional, so you need to come over this weekend. Yuta has already been thinking about divorce. You two managed to get married, so you need to work this out together.
For some reason, she was lecturing me and said some pretty horrible things to me too. Yeah, I'm just not really feeling up to it. I'm also considering divorce. I let her know before hanging up. He's almost in his 40s and he's running to his parents' house before telling his side of the story and leaving out details. Now he's claiming he's a victim and wants a divorce, but I'm done. Because of that phone call, I now knew that I wanted a divorce completely. I didn't want kids with this man, and I honestly make as much as he does. There was no point in us staying together. I'm over it. I went to a lawyer to consult him about what I should and shouldn't say this weekend. Then I got a call from my brother's wife, Aska. So yeah, I'm about to go to a lawyer to talk to him about it.
I know a good lawyer, actually. You want me to talk to him?
Really? That would help me out a lot, actually.
You never complain, like, ever. So I really didn't expect you to be going through that sort of thing.
I'll go with you to the meeting with the lawyer.
The next day, I headed to the lawyer with Asuka-san. That night, though, I got a call from Ryota, my brother, who heard the news from Asuka-san.
Yeah, as a man, I don't think you should have said that. But I totally get why when I heard about the events that led up to that point. You must have really been cornered to say something like that.
I really can't go back to living with Yuta. I'm completely over him already.
Well, I'll go with you to the meeting this weekend, okay? I'm sure you're not going to be very comfortable. It's just all their relatives.
Really? Thank you. I was very happy to hear that my brother would be going as well. I talked to the lawyer that Asuka-san introduced me, and he told me all about the process and what kind of legal proceedings I could expect. I told him everything that led up to this point to begin with, sparing no details.
From what I've heard, I really don't see you getting the short end of the stick going to court with him. I think there's a lot of pain and suffering there mentally, but...
I see. Thank you. I feel better knowing that. It was finally the weekend, and I headed over to their house with my brother. The conclusion of the talk was that I was even more sure that I wanted a divorce.
It's not like I'm dead set on divorcing.
What?
I had always felt a little bad about the fact that I was the reason you couldn't get pregnant, and it slowly turned into anger towards you. I knew that it was just the treatments that caused you to gain weight too.
Then why did you mock my body weight? Literally every day you said something about my size.
I didn't want to believe that I was the reason behind all of it.
I could tell he was being honest and I respected that. But the problem came after that.
The reason that I'm struggling this much is because you seem like you were enjoying yourself without a care in the world. You felt like nothing was wrong with you.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. Honestly, I wanted a kid. I wanted a child really badly, but I just had to accept and come to terms with life without a baby. But that's just something that you're either blessed with or not blessed with, so I tried to not let it get to me. I was working hard to make sure that our lives were good, even without a child. I started crying as my feelings came pouring out. But I wasn't always positive, and there were days that I was really upset that we couldn't have kids. But me sitting there, crying and weeping would just make you upset, so I tried my best to keep that from you. And you're telling me that's what bothered you? You wanted me to just keep crying all day while you attacked me. I figured that my husband would never change from now on. At the same time, I thought about the possibility that we were unable to conceive because of me, and how horrible they would have been towards me if it wasn't his fault anymore. I can't be your wife anymore, and I'm not interested. I want to move forward with a divorce.
Hang on! I won't say anything about your body size. I'm sorry that I was just playing the victim card. Please, rethink this!
No. The mother-in-law kept trying to say something to me while we were talking, but
As a wife, that's...
they weren't exactly kind or logical things, so my brother would step in every time.
Just let them talk it out first.
The father-in-law quietly listened to everything that both of us had to say. At the end, once both of us had said our piece,
My son is completely in the wrong here. I'm really sorry for what you had to go through, Kotomi-san. As a parent, I really do wish you two could work it out, but you have your life to live.
he formally apologized to me.
You can't force her to stay with you, kiddo. If you don't even have kids and there's no love there, you have to let it go. Just let it go.
He tried to convince my husband. My mother-in-law just kept glaring at me, clearly dissatisfied. At the end, we spoke for almost 2 hours, but my husband just could not accept the fact that we were going to get a divorce. If you want me to take this to the courts, that's fine, but I'm not going to change my mind anymore. It's all a waste of time. Let's have our lawyers talk about the rest.
I'll reach out to you later.
So the discussions were over and my brother and I left the house.
I guess we should go home and tell Mom, huh?
Yeah, I'm really worried about how she's going to take it. I wonder if she's going to be mad or sad. When both of us got back home, reported everything to my mom.
I've heard a lot of the story from Ryota.
I'm sorry, Mom.
I just want you to live your life and be happy.
She was so kind. I had this cloud hovering over my head for years, and but the fact that I was able to spill everything when we met, and the fact that, surprisingly, my father-in-law was fair and on my side,
I'm not surprised that you two are going to get a divorce.
made me feel that much better about everything. I wasn't that upset with them anymore. If anything, I felt like the air was cleared out. We started working towards a divorce, and in 3 months' time, we were officially divorced. About half a year later.
Kotomi-chan, you've lost weight, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was working so hard before to lose weight. I wasn't as in shape as I was before, but I was slowly starting to return to my normal size. I've started going to the gym too. Recently, I don't mind looking in the mirror at all.
My name is Aska. I moved into my husband Ryota's parents' house as soon as we got married. It's been almost 3 years, but I really get along with his mom, and we're close enough to just be honest with each other. No, you can't put it away like this. You should put it away like this.
No, I don't think so. We won't be bringing this out till next winter, so let's put it away.
But then you injured yourself trying to get it out last winter.
I mean, okay, fine. Let's put it away downstairs.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Things we didn't like, things we weren't sure about. We talked to each other completely and told each other what we could and couldn't budge on. We had a healthy relationship.
I'm so glad you guys get along.
It's 'cause she's not someone who talks about me behind my back. It all works out well. But the problem was his dad. He really just won't stop. I don't know what his problem was, but he's always trying to ruin my relationship with Ryota's mother. He wants to see us fight, apparently, so he does everything he can to tear us up. And they're always childish.
Hey, Asuka-san said you were a mean, ugly hag. You should chew her out.
Asuka-san wouldn't say that, you idiot.
Asuka-san, my wife said that you're a horrible wife. You don't do the chores right and she wants you out.
She would never say that. He would say nonsense.
Hey, Asuka-san tore up your lovely scarf. Wasn't it expensive?
What? I took such great care of it. This freaking moron.
What a horrible wife, huh? Guess they've got to get a divorce. Hey, Asuka-san! My wife dumped your phone in the sink. Are you guys fighting or something?
What the hell? Are you serious? All my photos are saved in there. Ugh, this old fart. He would keep destroying things that we found important and blame us. It was honestly getting out of hand. These things continued to escalate, and both of us were reaching the end of our patience.
They really don't get along, do they? They're both so strong-willed. Damn it, Dad, enough! They get along, so stop messing with them!
My husband was also pretty upset about this whole thing and tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. Even today, during dinner, he started saying some dumb shit.
Hey, Asuka-san! My wife said your cooking is absolutely horrible. Right, sweetie? You hate her cooking?
He looked over at her, trying to get her to agree with a shit-eating smirk on his face. She normally just completely ignored it, but she put down her chopsticks and grinned. Oh, she's up to something. I was watching them talk when...
Yeah, Asuka-san, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this chance to talk to you. Can you come over here? Oh, you two just keep eating.
She looked pretty irritated and slowly walked toward the kitchen. Okay. I pretended to be irritated, and when I glanced over at his dad, he was smirking the whole time.
It's happening! Huh? Mom? What's going on? Asuka, you need to calm down too.
My husband was honestly worried. Now in the kitchen, she was smiling and said,
Here, take this.
She handed me a rolling pin. She was holding a frying pan.
If he wants to see us fight, let's show him a fight. You know his favorite thing?
His treasured whiskey collection caught my eye. She pointed at it.
You see that? When we fight, I really hope we won't accidentally hit that, you know? It would be a real shame if we accidentally destroyed it.
She said, walking toward the whiskey cabinet. I followed, rolling pin in my hand. She took a deep breath and...
Asuka! You little poo-poo butthead! Don't you dare talk back to me! Ha!
She swung full force with her frying pan to the cabinet. The cabinet just made a loud thunk and withstood the blow.
What's going on? Is the fight really starting? What's going on?
The two showed up, shocked at the commotion. They immediately saw us standing in front of his whiskey cabinet. He must have known what was coming next.
No! Get away from that cabinet!
He was yelling, but I didn't care. Shut the hell up! I swung full force at the cabinet. It just made a loud thump, and the door didn't open.
You're such a daughter-in-law! How dare you! Take this!
You're my mother-in-law! How dare you! Hi-ya! We would scream nonsense at each other while banging at the shelf, and eventually I slipped and smacked the glass on the door. It broke with an ear-shattering crash. Everything inside was now exposed.
Hey! Stop! Stop right now!
He immediately ran to go and stop us, but my husband, Ryota, now understood what was going on.
Come on, Dad! This is what you wanted, right? Enjoy!
The shit-eating smirk was now transplanted on my husband's face. He held his father in place.
Let go of me! Stop! Ryota, let go!
My mother-in-law pulled out a whiskey from the cabinet and opened one.
Asuka, let's just go ahead and wash all of our crimes away, huh? What a great wife.
She started saying some fairly insane things.
I'm done with the fighting! I'm done!
I also felt like I had to get in on this, so I took 2 bottles of whiskey. All right, I'll do you one better. I'll give you a grandchild. I'm sure you want one. All of the whiskey was poured out into the sink.
Please! Please stop. Come on, Dad. This is what you were begging for, right?
The room reeked of whiskey, but my mother-in-law said,
I feel so much better. I think I can live with you like normal from now on.
"Really? Me too!" she yelled, making sure he heard everything. My husband finally let him go, and he was just slumped over. However, I don't really drink whiskey, so I didn't really know the price of whiskey.
I'm sure it was expensive, but he took it way too far.
He had bragged once before. I remembered that, so I just remembered him being so proud.
I have 2 bottles of whiskey worth $1,000.
So, what do you say? You want us to keep fighting? Or are you satisfied?
Whiskey. My whiskey collection. Hey, you got to see your dream fight in the front row seat, so that's just the price of the ticket. You should know how nice it is to be peaceful now. I don't ever want to see fights ever again. I'm sorry.
After that, he never spurred us on. If anything.
Asuka-san, my wife says you're such a great person.
Really? That's awesome.
Hey, you guys should take a break and go out sometime. Relax and unwind a little.
He would give us some money and support our already healthy relationship. On his birthday last week, we all chipped in to give him a whiskey cabinet and some whiskey to put in it.
My collection is back!
He was very happy.
I'm really sorry. I hope you guys get along forever.
Yeah.
My name is Aska, and I'm currently living at my in-laws' house with my husband Ryota, my son Hayato, and my daughter Ayaka, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law Kotomi. Oh my god, it's so cramped! And it's not just the room that's cramped, it was also invading my mind. What? Kotomi's going bankrupt? Kotomi, who had always been a spendthrift, has now finally gone bankrupt. I can't believe it. I was also harassed by my mother-in-law, and I decided to move out. Okay, the time has finally come. From a while ago, my husband Ryota and I
Let's save up the money and buy a house just for us.
have been talking about it for a while. We could have moved to a rented place, but we have kids, so let's hold out and save money for the future. That's what we had promised ourselves. And then, finally, the day has come. We bought a new house without telling my mother-in-law and Kotomi. Ryota and I already made plans, and we quickly moved our belongings out of the house while my mother-in-law watched in disbelief. Mother-in-law, we're moving out today. When I said that, my mother-in-law reacted unexpectedly. Huh? What about Hayato? She thought I was going to leave her grandson, Hayato. Huh? What kind of a rotten wife would leave her child who's still in middle school? Mother-in-law's face was turning red as she said so. What? Of course not. I don't think I will ever understand just my mother-in-law's thought process. When I was about to explain, Hayato and Ayaka spit out the milk they were drinking all at once.
Grandma, what are you talking about?
So me, Ryo, Hayato, Ayaka, and the whole family are going to leave together. As I said this, my mother-in-law finally understood what was happening, and her red face turned completely pale. I never said I was the only one leaving, did I? Just from this response alone, you can understand how my mother-in-law is a person who can only think in a way that suits her. Get out of my house! I don't understand why she's asking me to take care of her grandchildren when she laments like this. So, from now on, all 4 of us will live happily together as a family, so please don't disturb us, mother-in-law, since you're a stranger. When I said so, I've never seen a woman with such twisted guts as you. My mother-in-law retorted like that, but the kids were the ones who would not be silent here.
Grandma, you once told Mom that a wife is a stranger and a distraction, right?
That's right. You told me to live with Mom, didn't you? Why are you mad at us? We're just gonna leave like you asked.
I'm my mother and father's son, but I don't consider myself Grandma's grandson, okay?
With Auntie Kotomi here, it's not like you'll be all alone. Grandma, you used to say that having a daughter is a waste of money, but aren't you glad you had a daughter too?
I had a lot to say, but it seems that the 2 kids had a lot of resentment stored up as well. If Ryota had been there, I would have stopped them, but he wasn't there, so I didn't. Sorry. I actually wanted to laugh my guts out when I saw my mother-in-law being told off by her 2 grandchildren. I know it's wrong as the mother to let them say that much to their grandmother, but she deserves it. That was my honest opinion. This has become a memory that makes me laugh in tears even when I think about it now. So we were able to finish the move without incident, but afterwards, my mother-in-law kept calling Ryota on his cell phone with angry phone calls. We let it go for a while, but...
Oh my god! How many times do you have to call me?
Ryota was getting frustrated, so we decided to pick up the phone and answer it. Ryota's irritation was just an excuse, and the truth is, I still had a lot to say. To sum up, my mother-in-law's phone call, she said, "Give me back my son and Hayato!" She was shouting so loudly that I could almost smell her bad breath through the phone as she hurled abusive language. To that I kept ignoring her. Maybe because of her age, she was out of breath and she started to lose her voice after about 15 minutes. Here we go. Time to attack back. I decided to tell her what I wanted to say. Mother-in-law, we were just watching the open ceremony of the Olympics on the big TV in the living room with the whole family. It's so comfortable to spend time alone with family without worrying about others. Huh? Next week, we are going to the beach. It's been a while since we've been on a trip with just the family, so not only the kids are excited, but so is Ryota. I won't buy mother-in-law souvenirs because you're a stranger, but if you still keep calling, I can at least tell you about the souvenirs. I think I was also very fired up. I took this opportunity to vent my resentment for my mother-in-law calling me a stranger for so long. Mother-in-law was in tears by the end. Ryota was listening to this conversation from the side. I wonder if he's going to get angry. I thought so, but then the phone stopped ringing since then, and he was in a better mood. Ryota was angry at my mother-in-law and Kotomi's attempted debt plan in Ryota's name after they kept begging him for money. But he really didn't seem to care about my mother-in-law and Kotomi since he was the one who initiated this insulating move. And we got so excited and told Ayaka.
You're both a little over the top.
Since I've been told that, I think it'll be fine. But I can use the house more spaciously now that I don't have a family of 4 and their luggage crammed into a small Japanese-style room, and there are no rotten bananas or garbage on the table and no flies flying around. Even the kitchen is adjusted to my size, so I don't have to bend over. And I can stuff my fridge with whatever I want. I couldn't help resist my excitement to start shouting and dancing. I mean, I'm already doing it. I don't care if you're my mother-in-law. Just look at how happy I am. I'm really sorry an old lady like me is getting this excited. I was stuck in that state for a while. But I think Hayato and Ayaka have been through more pain than I have, so let's not get carried away. It may be a little too late, but from now on, I will protect them as mother. I've laid some groundwork in place with the kids at school and relatives, but even though we're insulated, we only moved a short distance away due to school district issues and so on. I guess it'll take a little more time before things are completely peaceful. My mother-in-law a year after I gave birth to Hayato when I was pregnant with Ayaka.
We only need one successor. The second one will cost a lot of money, so give it up.
She kept saying that until Ayaka was born, and because it was a girl.
I told you that a second child is a waste of money, and women just eat money.
And if I tried to get her to take lessons, she would call a teacher and try to get her to quit without permission. In my mother-in-law's mind,
the eldest son is the heir, is the one who earns money for the house. A wife is the one who provides money from their parents and labor to the house. Daughters are unnecessary.
This idea was actually written on a piece of paper and given to me just before Ayaka's birth. What? Now of all times? My only regret was that I could not let Ayaka learn to play the piano. If that's how it's going to be, I'll take the opportunity of moving to a new house and buy a piano. I thought it was too late, but Ayaka was overjoyed by this statement.
What? Really? I want to go learn to play the piano.
Since she said that, I immediately signed her up for piano lessons. At the time, it's not my mother-in-law who gives birth, raises the child, or pays, it's me. And I fought back desperately, but I still don't think I will ever understand my mother-in-law's ways of thinking. I don't even want to understand it, though. Ryota later apologized to me and my family for everything that happened, and completely cut ties with my mother-in-law and Kotomi. Tomorrow, I'm going to buy matching table mats for the family. I don't think I'll get out of this excitement for a while longer. Every small thing makes me happy. But taking a closer look, Ryota and the kids are equally high-spirited too. Well, it should be fine, I thought. After that, my mother-in-law and Kotomi changed their targets for money to my relatives.
We're blood relatives! Why don't you share a little bit of your money with us?
They are now being cut off from all their relatives. I guess that's why people say love lasts as long as money endures.
Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you next time!